Not every day you get to sit down and hang out with me.
It feels like it, April.
I know. Right now too much. All right, we're live, Elliot. You want to start us out? You want to introduce us all?
Nope. You can. You're good at that.
I am? Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm glad I'm good at something. Welcome, everyone. This is April Marie from beautiful sunny Florida. And we were just kind of joking around while we were getting started there. Elliot thinks I'm really good at introducing everybody. I was going to give him the opportunity to do that because that's where it kind of all starts, but he passed. So we'll let him pass on this one this time. Just this one time. Next time you better be prepared, though, Elliot.
Fair enough.
All right, awesome. So tonight is our Sisel Global Takeover Team Mastermind. These are hangouts that we do really to connect with the team, to really see what's going on with you guys, help you, interact with you, a little bit more hands-on, which that's why these were all started, is because I feel like with the internet we've got a worldwide, global team. That's why we're called the Global Takeover Team. It's a lot easier for us to jump on one of these Google Hangouts and talk to people that are over in the UK or wherever you are in the world, or let's say, for example, Elliot's in Wisconsin, which is like a world away, considering I'm down here in beautiful sunny Florida. So it just lets us reach out and touch someone and really just see where you guys are at in your business. And tonight we have a fantastic topic, actually a topic that's I think very needed if you want to have success, and it is action. So tonight's topic will be all about action, how to get into massive action and really start making those, making the money that you desire and getting the financial freedom that you want out of your sizzle business. So obviously without action, that is not going to happen. You will not find financial freedom. You won't find getting money underneath a rock or anything. You won't find it, okay? You have to have action, and action is key. So that will be tonight's topic, and I'm really excited because Jeffrey is going to be helping us train tonight and sharing some of his wisdom. And I believe you guys had this morning's call was all about action. So we're going to be kind of just going on more about that and ways to take massive action and stuff like that. So welcome to the call, everyone, and I'm just going to start introducing the panelists here from right to left. And first person we have, I believe, is Mike Lindsay. Welcome, Mike Lindsay. I don't know if you can turn on your microphone and say hi to everyone, but it would be great to hear your voice. You can. I don't think he can. Welcome, Margaret Wilson. How are you doing, Margaret?
Oh, Margaret said she doesn't have a mic yet.
Oh, okay.
Her mic's not working or something.
Then Jeffrey Kistner, the great superstar.
It's the network marketer with Integrity Plus, April.
Yeah, our team hero, the network marketer with Integrity Plus, Jeff Kistner.
Yeah, I'm really excited about tonight, taking action. Going to take some action.
Yep, tonight we're taking action.
It's going to be really easy.
This morning's really got me riled up this morning. So, yeah, I mean, I think we're going to talk about things a little bit differently. I mean, the morning call, we packed some stuff into 20, 25 minutes or whatever. But this kind of thing is what it's all about, and it's the one thing that separates the people having some success and people that aren't yet. So.
What was that movie we saw, Jeffrey, where Mark Wahlberg goes, "Are you a doer or a don'ter?"
That was a horrible movie. That was Pain and Gain.
I have my daughter saying it. She's like, "Are you a doer or a don'ter?" And it is true, Elliot, though. Like, seriously, that's what sets people apart. The successful people have something in common. It is action. I did not get to where I am without taking action consistently. That's the key. Like, it wasn't like taking action for a month and then stopping, or taking action for some people a day. It was consistent action over a long period of time that started to just explode. It's just like all of a sudden it's like you're building up this momentum because you're taking a lot of action, and then all of a sudden it goes, it's like a volcano, and it starts just overflowing. So I think that action is it's a necessary part of your business. So I think it's a great topic. So Elliot, we didn't introduce you.
Yes, I'm Elliot.
He doesn't
Hello,
need an
everyone.
introduction, guys. He's just that awesome. His name tag says it all. Yeah, so I'll let you guys lead off because I mean Elliot and Jeff really were leading the show this morning on the call. So
Well, one thing that I want to start doing just for a few minutes, and maybe, Jeff, I'll start this, and maybe you can finish it off. But, one thing I found out or realized just by talking to a lot of people is that, we make these, we don't really advertise these hangouts, these trainings, but people do find them, because we make them public so that we can link to them and everyone can see them if they miss them. And people end up finding these. They're looking for a global takeover team, and people are starting to see what we're doing as a team. So, I thought we should spend a few minutes kind of just in the beginning of these on Mondays addressing those people who have found us and, why exactly we're here, and just, 30 seconds on Sisel if they're unfamiliar. So this is, April mentioned it, but the global takeover team, and we're a Sisel International team that is, we have these every Monday night. We have phone calls every morning, to help train, motivate, get people information about our team and Sisel, things they can use immediately to affect their business. And April mentioned this, but I think the Hangouts for me were a great way to start to get to know people. I mean, we're not in the same room, but in a lot of ways it does feel like you get to know people a little bit better if you're, talking to them on camera. So, again, we do these every Monday, so you're welcome to come stalk us some more if you'd like to. And Jeff, you want to touch on Sisel quick?
talking. Is that what you do? Is that it's always the person pointing the finger.
That's probably true.
Talking. You're so funny.
Elliot, sure, I'll touch on Sisel. It's really hard to do that in 30 seconds.
Well, you know what I'm saying, but just what.
We'll do it really quick.
Yeah.
Just to kick this off. First of all, I want to say Elliot's really humble. He is the last 2 months, and I see no reason not to believe he won't finish up this month the same way, even though he went on vacation for a week, which is exciting to be able to do. But he's the number 5 recruiter the last 2 months in North America, so that's really exciting. So he's humble. He doesn't talk about that, and we're going to talk about taking massive action in a moment. But here's Sisel. Sisel is surreal. I've never used those words, but it's surreal because here you have a billionaire founder who's been in health and wellness for almost 40 years. He's never changed his tune. And basically what he's been doing is he's been making toxic-free products. These are products that you'd use every day. You're not thinking, twice about it. And what we're really saying is, hey, shop from your own store. You can build an incredible business. And it's even less than driving out to your local realtor because when you're our Platinum's Partner Program, you won't even pay for shipping. So it's incredible. But we take it a step further. This billionaire founder, Tom Maurer, took $150 million of his own money, and before a product was ever sold, he built the largest network marketing factory in the world. I mean, it's actually manufacturing for over 100 companies you'd know like Walgreens, GNC, Sam's Club, and much more, and about 40 other network marketing companies. I'm not going to mention one of their names, but perhaps yours. So take a look at that. Some of these companies brag that they are debt-free, but take a look at this from this perspective. The only reason they're debt-free in a lot of cases, like 90% of the time, is because no one will loan them any money. And believe me, they need to borrow money for expansion. But we took a decidedly different approach. Our founder took $150 million of his own money, not shareholder money, not borrowed money from banks, his own money, and started this. Now that's a lot. That's incredible. And anyways, we just don't have better products. And I'm not here to say, my product beats your product is better. We have vastly superior products. And the reason we know this is because before we launch a product, if the product even exists, because we don't have a bunch of Me Too products either. If you don't know what that is, a Me Too product is when you say I have this and they say Me Too. We don't have a bunch of Me Too products. And the products that are the same, ours are vastly superior. Here's why. We have 16 biochemists on board. I want you to think about that. So we're researching the research, and we're sitting here going, okay, does this resveratrol product, for example, need 50 milligrams or 200 to have a therapeutic effect? So when other companies are putting in 5 or 10 milligrams, and we're sitting here saying we're going to need at least 50, but we do the research and say 200 would be a lot better, we're putting in 200. So it's just not more is better. We're putting in a therapeutic amount, and that's why we have vastly superior products. Now, let's bring this home. We have a billionaire founder who's not talking about what he's going to do. He's talking about what he's already done, and that is the largest network marketing factory in the world, vastly superior products, starting with $150 million own money, and already has created or assisted in creating over 1,000 millionaires with a goal for 10,000 more. You take that to another step, to have the world's only, and I do mean the world's only dual compensation plan, and either of those compensation plans separately are more than any health and wellness company out there. And I just want to add, that was before we just added 100,000 plus in bonuses and decided to pay daily. Now, you might not think that's a big deal to pay the next business day, but 99% of companies couldn't do that if they wanted to. They just don't have the financial strength to do so. So that's a huge testament to our financial power. And if you're looking for something that you want to, make your home, you're going to find it in Sisel International, because again, structure overall, if you take a look at everything, you're going to find a vastly superior company. And that's where I'm at with that. I'm so excited to be here after 23 years of network marketing, because there is no close second, so there's nowhere to go. There's just nowhere to go. I found home.
It is easily the best kept secret for now in network marketing. There's no doubt about it. We've been around for a little while, but we've only been in the U.S. about 3 years, less than 3 years, I think. And so there's, it's
Ellie,
basically you're going in ground floor with a huge multinational corporation. It's pretty incredible.
Elliot, I'm going to expand on that even without permission. And here's what here's what I want to talk about. This is really, really simple, and I'll try to do it in under 2 minutes. You have these Goliaths of the industry. I mean, one of them started in 1959, so these companies have been around for 50, 60, 70 years. They're incredible companies. They paved the way. But in my opinion, the fortune's already been made. It really has. Now, in my opinion, also, we can go with the statistics. These pre-launches, startups, they don't make it. I mean, they just don't make it. 98%, north of 98%, I'm being generous, don't make it past the 5th year. If you want to give you a little idea, the United States alone, more than 400 of these pre-launches, startups start a year. That's more than one a day, but you'll never know their names because they simply don't make it. But here you have Sisel International with a billionaire founder set up in a dynasty trust. So Sisel must remain Sisel. It can't be bought or sold. So you don't have to worry about a corporation buying it out. But here's the truth. You have all the vision of a startup with all the growth ahead of it, but you're so financially backed. It's just absolutely incredible. All the growth is ahead of you. So you don't have to be where the pre-launch or startup is, and you don't have to be, where the fortunes have already been made. You can be right in between. And really, arguably, you'll never see this again in network marketing history, what Tom Maurer's done. Start a company with $150 million of his own money, and we arguably do have the best MLM product in network marketing history, and maybe that will ever build. And that's weight loss support coffee, and that's because over the last 30 years, what has made the most money for the profession, if you want to look around, it's been weight loss. Those companies with their buttons, it's been weight loss and hasn't changed. But number 2 in the last 6-7 years, it's been coffee. We combine the two for a health and wellness, weight loss support coffee, and there is no close second. Where other companies are putting 2, 1, or no ingredients, we have 10 ingredients that are fat burning, fat blocking, and thermogenic. It's just absolutely amazing, and no one pays more. And I'll throw it out there. We're paying 45% dollar for dollar on our weight loss support coffee.
All right,
And
so Jeff,
yeah.
now you're just doing the entire webinar.
I'm sorry. I'm just so excited. I mean, I want to challenge. People go, I have the highest compensation. First of all, it doesn't matter. You can make any plans. You can make money with a binary or a unilevel, but I haven't seen a binary make it yet. Not a single one. 0. So I don't just want to get on that sinking ship. Oh, we're big. We're giant. Yeah, so was the Titanic, but it sank, didn't it?
So Tuesday and Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern, SiselInternationalRocks.com.
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, 10 o'clock, SiselInternationalRocks.com. All right, so let's get to
action. You want to take some action.
Action, success, action. What do we need to know? April.
What do you need to know?
I need to know.
Action. I already know everything. I'm just kidding.
Well,
you want to know what I know?
No, here's what I want to know from you. I want to know because there was a point where you weren't doing what you're doing. All right. When you started and didn't maybe necessarily have the belief in that you could possibly do what you've done. How did that process look to you from going from that disbelief to actually being able to take those daily action steps?
That's a really good question, because for me, well, I always tell people action is the only cure to any of that. If you lack belief, if you lack, your feelings of inadequacy, you don't feel like you're good enough, whatever it is that's holding you back, it's always action. That's the only cure to any of it, procrastination, all of it. But for me, I knew where I wanted to go. I really believe that the reason why people don't take action is because they don't have a clear enough vision. And I'm saying enough because they might think they have a vision, but they don't have a clear enough vision for their future. So they don't know where they want to go. They don't know where they want to be 6 months from now. They don't even know where they want to be 2 days from now. Most people don't plan that far ahead. They're just kind of out there in their own little jobs, doing their thing, day to day. They're just used to that scenario for them. It's comfortable, So sometimes it's also too like people just want to feel comfortable. My sister is very comfortable. She wants nothing to do with what I'm doing. She loves her job. Actually, I don't think she loves it, but she always complains on Facebook about Mondays and all this stuff. But she's comfortable, and it's scary for her to not be comfortable. So she will never do anything different. So I think for some people it just depends, but I think for me anyways, it was knowing what I wanted and really wanting it enough. I really knew what I wanted, though. I wanted out of my job, and there's still things that I want. I have a very clear vision of what I want, and that's so, like, you have to have that clear vision at all times. So that's why I think it's important that people really sit down when they join Sisel and sit down with their sponsor, write down your why, know where you want to be 3 months from now, guys. Not next week. Don't, you know what I mean? This is a long-term thing, but the work you're doing now, you'll see, you'll reap the rewards 90 days from now. So where do you want to be in 90 days from now? Really sit down and think about that. Think about where you want to be 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. Plan on staying, like Gavin always says, plan on being here the next 10 years. And have goals and milestones that you plan on achieving with Sisel, because Sisel is the vehicle. That is the vehicle, ultimately. So you're the driver, but you're using Sisel as the vehicle to get what you want. So, if you're having a hard time taking action, you need to probably sit down and figure out what it is you really want. Because, like, I have notes around my desk. I know what I want. I have it written down and staring in my face every day. When I sit down at my laptop or my desk, I know what I want because it's right there, and there's no way to forget it while I'm working because I know what I'm working for. So I think it's really important that you do that.
I like it. I think one of the things I kind of shared this morning a little bit, I think, was how terrible I was at being stuck in learning mode. And I mean, we're talking literally years of, great ideas, great whys, great vision for what I thought could happen, and then I would plan that sucker out, and I would have every last detail painted, and then I just kept going over the plan and kept learning something new about what I could do, and well, what if this came up? How would I handle this? And literally, I mean, that was
That's
say that again?
That's scatterbrain.
Everyone. Some of it probably was, but I mean, there was times I was in months of learning at a time, and never actually taking that first real step towards action. And once I got past that, and really for me, it was a matter of deciding. I've talked about this before, and someone actually asked me, isn't that the exact opposite of how it's supposed to work? Because most people, like you're talking about, know what you want long term, and you're focusing on your vision and things like that. And I do have those things, but my focus is actually more tomorrow's list. You know what I mean? Now that list.
That's a good focus to have, is progress. But I'm saying you should have a long-term vision. That you're
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying. Well, I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I mean, you're absolutely right that you.
No, you should focus on progress, though. That's right.
and that's I just never. I always kept my focus on the vision versus translating that vision down to daily action, and then only focusing on those steps till they were done. And so once I took that more day-to-day approach is when I started to see things change.
But let me ask you this, Elliot, because this is something that I see a lot of people really seriously have a problem with. Did you really sit down and actually believe or see yourself, like this vision that you had of your life, did you really believe that you could do it? Because sometimes that is what will keep you stuck in learning mode too.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Who cares? I'm just going to sit here and learn some more because I don't really see myself doing that anyways.
It's possible. I mean, I believed certain things. Like I wasn't like the person that thought, I'll never get this to work, or I'll never be that person, or I'll never have that or this. I was never that guy, but I definitely think there was a, can this really work for me? Can I make this successful? Can I actually do this? There was definitely some of that. I mean, I think if all doubt is completely removed from anything, from anything in your life, then you're completely uninhibited to get it. So I think there's probably, whatever each of us isn't reaching probably comes down to some kind of doubt. So you're definitely right about that. I think there probably was. But like you said, action removes doubt and instills belief.
Yes, it does. It's the only cure, and that's where. But it's overcoming that and swinging yourself into action is the key. So I think faith is what I wrote on it first, because you can ask. I mean, I was just believing what Jeff told me and what was possible. I was like, okay, just have faith and just start taking action, because I am somebody who can. I try not to think too into things because I will scare myself. I'll stop myself. I will be afraid. I'll talk myself into thinking I'm horrible, I'm unsuccessful, and all this stuff. So for me, not really thinking about too much about what I was doing, but just basically just doing it. I still am like that too to this day. Like if I do a video or something, and you might even notice I've got people on this call to this, I won't like think too much into it. I'll just get on and start rambling something off. And what I've learned to do is really, what? Yeah, you notice that. Everybody knows that. For some reason, I don't know, people like it. So, I mean, I don't sit there and think, oh, if I think too much about what I'm gonna say, I'll screw it up. If I write notes, if I say I'm gonna say this, 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 and I tried this. Like, remember my first video? I put a piece of paper up like underneath the camera, and I was reading, and some guy, I can tell you're reading. Cute, I mean, I was like, man, that stinks. So they knew I was reading. I was like, I gotta stop my eyes from doing that. But what I noticed too is that, like, when people are nervous, or when I'm nervous, my eyes still do this. So I've even had people when I'm not reading say, your eyes are moving like you're reading, and I'm like, I'm not reading. I promise you that. I'm stumbling all over my words, but okay. So, you know, for me, I had a lot of fear. A lot of fear. That was my big problem when I got started. And you can ask Jeff. I was afraid to call my leads or any leads. I was afraid to even call a phone. I remember the first guy, and Jeff actually wanted me to share this on one of the calls, and I forgot. The first, like, I was calling the stack of leads. I used to watch Jeff. Here's the thing is I used to watch Jeff in his office call leads. And this was when I was brand new, guys. Like, I would just watch Jeff, and I would think, wow, he's just so amazing. Like, how does he do that? He just signed 9 people up in a day, and I was like, this is crazy. I wouldn't even know how to begin, you know. I really was, like, I would see him and try to, like, I was almost a little bit afraid to do it because he seemed so good and so flawless and just so natural at it, and I knew I wasn't going to be, so I would actually talk to myself out of doing it in a way. So finally one day Jeff's like, come on, I'll, you know, just sit in here and call. I'll sit next to you and call. I was like, all right. So I started calling, and luckily nobody answered for a really long time. And I was happy. I was like, yeah. So, and here I am, I'm calling, and all of a sudden I left a message on a voicemail, and this guy called me back like 5 seconds later, and I literally almost hung up on him. I said, hang on a second. And I'm like, Jeff, I don't know what to say. What do I say? Like, I was like shaking. You ever feel like it almost was like getting on stage for the first time or something, like I was going to sing to a great big audience? I was like, I don't know what to say. Like, I can't breathe. I was like, I so didn't know what to say to this guy. And Jeff's like, just say, are you interested in starting, you just say, you know, your name and why you're calling, you know, are you interested in starting a home-based business? Or I got your information. I forget what I said. But anyways, he's like, no, you know what happened? I called him, and he told me he wasn't interested. And then he called me back. And I was like, okay, fine, bye. You know? And then he called me back, and he said, actually, I am interested. Do you have some more information? And that was where I was completely like, I don't know what to say, Jeff. I'm sitting there in the kitchen trying to make dinner, and he called back. I thought I was done for the day. Like, I didn't get a hold of anybody, and I was just cool.
That was a successful day.
Yeah, and I did
made all those calls.
Yeah, I made a lot of calls, but really nobody answered. So I was, so successful.
Well, but I know I've had that day though, and that does feel successful when you're like, I called like 20 people today. I didn't talk to anybody, but I got through a lot of calls.
I actually do that on purpose. I call leads when I know that they're not really available, and I will leave a message and then let them call me back. And that's a tactic. People do that. Just because I know that I'll get stuck on the phone, and I don't want to waste time with people, you know, and I don't want to waste their time or whatever. But anyways, what was I going to say? So how I overcame it is, you know, because I was so fearful, guys, and this is a lot of times what will hold you back. And remember, I was saying action is the cure for everything. So I just started doing. I started calling more. I started getting better on the phone. Just the same thing with the videos. You know what? I was so bad at doing videos, guys, and ask Jeff, because he was there. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do a video every day until I get really good. And I did. I just did videos every single day until I overcame my fear, got good, and to my amazement, people liked me. I don't even know why, but they started liking me on Facebook and following me, and we became friends, and I started signing people up in my business, and, you know, long story short, here I am today. That's how I started, just putting videos on Facebook. I didn't even know what YouTube was. So I didn't know what YouTube was, guys. It's crazy, but it is true.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I didn't mean to take over like interview responsibilities, but since I'm doing it, Jeff. So I don't know if you remember. Well, I know the story about you. You know, your first call, you know, for like mortgages or whatever, where the guy actually said he was interested and you hung up on him because you didn't know what to do. So since we're kind of on that topic, I'm wondering, because that is action. I mean, how does someone get from that standpoint of, you know, whether it's from fear or doubt or whatever their situation is, where, okay, let me back up. So this morning on the call, Jeff's talking about talking to 3 people a day, right? Inviting 3 people a day to come to the webinar, or getting 3 people to agree to come to a webinar, and that's both very easy and very complicated, or very difficult. Not necessarily complicated, because talking is relatively easy, but it can be difficult when you're afraid, or you don't know what to say, or whatever. So how does somebody get to, get from, I want to do that, I want to invite 3 people a day, but I don't even know what my hang-ups are to be able to get to those 3 people a day?
Yeah, it's a really great question, Elliot.
I've got great questions, Jeff. I just don't have great answers.
Well, you have great answers too, and you know where this is going. But April mentioned taking action, but really that's the start of it. You can watch all the videos you want on how to swim or how to throw a baseball, but you're going to have to start throwing the baseball, and you're going to have to be throwing the water at some point. Unfortunately, so many people will never jump in the water. Even if it's a chlorine pool, they might think there's a shark in the water, and there could be, but it's just doubtful. And what I learned a long time ago is that, it was really embarrassing, like that first phone call we talked about when I called someone, they said they did want to purchase my product, my service, and I hung up on them because I didn't know what to say next. That's the truth. But here's the deal. We have to be bad. You can't start out good. It's just unfortunate. You have to be really bad, and the only way you're going to get good is by, practicing. And you can be absolutely horrible. Like, look, there's April hanging up on the phone on someone, and me hanging up on the phone, on someone. Now, what she did on that one call is she put the guy on hold for a second. She said, "You know what? I have to take another call, something to that effect, but I want you to speak to my business partner, Jeff." And I took the call. And so that was pretty easy, right? So anyways, then she got to hear yet another call. And I think April also heard me having a lot of fun too. Like, I mean, the craziest things will be said to you. Even at that point, I was, network marketing maybe, 17, 18 years. And I was making a tremendous amount of money. And I'm going to spend numbers here, but I mean a lot of money. And I mean, people would say to me stuff like this, and I mean, they just blow my mind. "I'm not going to join your company because if you were making any money, you wouldn't be the guy calling." You think how crazy that is, but it's just the opposite. There might be someone who's setting up a pre-call to find out if someone's interested in them making the call, but the person making the call is the person making the money. It's the opposite. The biggest challenge is, and I want you to really think about this, is when we say you're looking for people, people are just trying to convince people to do the business. I would say if you take anything from, this call, you listen to the recording, that you've probably heard you're looking for people who are looking for you. Don't be a be a sorter and a sifter. If someone says no, they don't want to do this, it means no. You're all taught not yet or this or that. No means really no. You can save a tremendous amount of money by going to the next person. This is really scary. I want you to think of this too. Most people would rather not have success if they can't have success fast. Isn't that absolutely crazy? Think about what I'm saying. Most people would rather not have success if they can't have it fast. So that's why a lot of people, they'll get in a network marketing business. I call them the jumper junkies. They'll quit altogether, which I don't believe they fail. They quit, and, so fast. So you're looking for people who really don't want a mediocre life. There's nothing wrong with that. And by mediocre, I mean average and ordinary. Of the herd, they want to be like everyone else. You're looking for people who truly want success. But here's the other thing. it goes along. You know, like, do you want success? Everyone's going to say yes. Virtually everyone. They're going to say yes, I want success. But you're looking for that one step further, and that is the person that's willing to do something about it. So I can say that obviously the people who are on here, I can't see who's watching, but I see Margaret and Elliot and April and Mike Lindsay and Patricia. We want success. There's no question, because we're taking action and we're trying to learn, things so that we can have success. And I find it very, I feel, it really is unfortunate, because, action will take care of that. And unfortunately, when the devil was selling off all his tools, most of those tools went for, a few $100s each. But then when he had this tool called doubt, it went for like $100,000, because that's his most powerful tool. He can use vanity and pride and all these different tools, but doubt, man, if he can just get that little wedge in there, then it will just grow and grow and grow, and it's very, very hard to recover from. So you got to get rid of the doubt. You have to believe. The belief comes first, and you've heard everyone say, hey, when I start making money, then I'll believe. Well, most likely you'll never make any money, because you have to believe first. And if you believe, you'll pick up the phone. I believed it so much because I was sitting next to people who were making $300,000 and $400,000 a year. I saw what they were doing. Like April was seeing what I was doing. And you have to be horrible. I mean, you don't have to be horrible, but you're probably going to be really bad. And as far as inviting, what's wrong with calling up your best friend? And I'm going to talk about that for just a second. Your best friend, your brother, your mother, your sister, if you just got here, and saying, you'll take all their power away. You're right, I don't know what I'm doing. They know you. You're right, I still owe you $50. But I was on a webinar the other night, and I heard a couple of people speak, and it was absolutely amazing. And I think what they had to say, will definitely change my life. I believe it, and I'd just like you to listen to it. Maybe it's for you and maybe it's not, but you're never going to know unless you go and listen to it. So I don't want to say what's so hard about that, because it's simple, but it's not easy. But it can definitely be done. And then you take all the power away, because they don't have, well, how much money do you make? Nothing. I've only been here for 48 hours. That's like when someone goes to gets their job right. Really? You just got a job, and let's say they work at wherever they work. I don't care where they work. They got a regular job, or they have an employer, and that employer is going to have them work for a couple weeks before they get a paycheck. I don't say to them, are you sure they're going to pay you? It could be a big scam. What if you work there for 2 weeks and they have you stock the shelves or whatever you're doing and sweep the floors and do all this stuff, and they have you show up for all those hours and they never pay you? Oh my goodness, you could be in the biggest scam ever. And that's the challenge. And you probably are one of the biggest scams ever. So you're looking for people who don't want to be and don't want to have an average and ordinary life, because then they'll do what's simple, but it's not easy, because this is hard work. It's not hard work like you're under a car with a blowtorch putting on a muffler in Florida. It's hard work because it's scary. But I'm going to kind of end with this and go and bring it back to Elliot, and we can have a little interaction. Pick up the phone. Your best friend, your mother, your brother, sister, your coworkers, and some people you don't know. No one can punch you in the nose over the phone. So pick it up. And your phone has a button. I want to show you this button right here. On mine, I have this phone right here. There's a button at the bottom. It's right here. And I still do this today. If I get too stressed, I hit this button. I call this the stress button. Too much stress? Boop. Stress gone. I seriously, I do it. That's the stress button. I don't know where it's at on your phone, but my phone has a stress button. I wouldn't get a phone without it. Use the stress button. Back to you, Elliot.
It's funny. So many good things. My favorite, and I don't know, I've only heard this a couple times from you, but it's not hard like blowtorching a muffler in Florida or whatever.
I see these people, it's 120 degrees, and they really are. for I moved from Chicago because making money, network marketing. I thought, man, I can live anywhere I want. I catch on slow. I should have done it 10, 15 years ago. But I'm driving down the street and I noticed, wow, these Florida auto shops, the one I see, they don't have air conditioning. The lifts are outside, and these guys really are. They got that mask on and all they're suited up, really, because they could catch on fire for real.
Right.
And at the same time, they are putting on a muffler, and it's over 100 degrees, and they got flames going. I'm like, whoa. I think it would be smarter. I don't know if that's even the word. I just think that it would be better to say, you wouldn't want to join this network marketing business, would you? I think that if you did that enough times, it would be better than the muffler. And I'm making fun of it. I'm glad people are employed and have jobs. But I think that's easier.
I agree. So what are, and I often try, we've talked about this before, I think, but trying to break down, action steps for building a sizzle business into 3 to 5 steps. Like, so what are the daily actions that, in whatever form they take? For instance, I do a lot of stuff where, I'm talking to people online or taking leads offline and calling them, or however it works. But, so it doesn't have to be specific, but in general, what are those 3 to 5 things that people need to be doing every single day?
The most important thing is, and they say, and I'm gonna clear this up right now. When you're brand new, I hear a lot of people say 80% prospecting and then 20% teaching the team and all that kind of stuff and learning. I'm gonna tell you right now, none of the learning's gonna count. You're brand new. Put that CD into your car and listen. How to talk to someone, whatever you need, how to overcome your fears. False evidence appearing real, whatever it takes, to listen. But that doesn't count as work. That's just learning. Okay, we'll give you some ideas, some fancy lines. That's why a lot of people aren't here. They can learn these, fancy lines. And I'm going to give you a few in just a moment. But beyond that, you have to be a great listener. And you have to listen for people that are having it. They're going to say anything from like, my knees hurt. You know what I mean? And there's an in. And here's what I really mean. When someone says their knee hurts, it's not throwing up a bottom of their business. You say, Elliot says his knee hurts. I say, Elliot, I just heard you say your knee hurts. Would you like to do something about that? No, I'm fine. See, that means he's fine. In other words, Elliot doesn't have enough pain yet to cause enough discomfort that he wants to do something about it. See, that's fine. But when I come across someone who says, my knee hurts, and I say, would you like to do something about it? They say, heck yeah, I'm in a lot of pain. This hurts. That's your opportunity to get them some information about a product that will potentially help them with their knee pain. It goes like that. You know what? I'm seeing people talk about all kinds of challenges. I can't pay my phone bill. I can't do this. Would you like to do something about it? Because you didn't get in the situation overnight, but you can, get out of it faster than you probably got into it, right? It's the same thing with someone who gains 50 pounds. It probably took you a while to do that. It might even take 10 years at 5 pounds a year. You're not going to get it out overnight, but you can get out of it a lot faster than you got into it. So the action is you have to listen, and then you have to call them out on it. And I want to add to this, Elliot. We've talked about this before, but I want to give some people some key things to say. And it sounds funny, but you start lines with, would it be okay if? And these lines are so powerful. They really are. Would it be okay if I showed you something that might help your knee? Would it be okay if I showed you something that you could potentially make more money and you wouldn't have to quit doing your job right now? Would it be okay if I showed you something like that? So you're asking permission. And that's not permission to throw up on them. That's permission to give them a link or a way that you're going to give them the information, depending on how you do that. There's a lot of techniques, and that's not what this is about tonight. And the other ones is to say, do you know how? When someone asks you about your company, see, it could be the same line. Someone says, my knee hurts. Do you want to get out of that? Do you see what I mean? Do you want to do something about it? Yes, I do. how could you assist me? Well, you know how there's a lot of people who have some knee pain. Our top biochemist at our company created a product that helped people with knee pain. Would it be okay if I showed you more about that? See, it's the same thing. You know how some people like to eat a lot of candy when they're trying to lose weight? Our company developed a candy that you can actually eat and lose weight. Would it would be okay if I showed you more about that? So anyways, a little bit, we can have a conversation here. But see how non-threatening that is?
Yes. So
You got to get over your fear, though.
yeah. So I mean, I love your lines. We should do a whole hour on lines, opening lines. Well, maybe we've done that already, but we should do it again.
We should line them up with every possible situation. I really use these. You know what? April's listening right now, and it's so funny. I didn't even think Kmart's exist anymore. I'm sure they love me talking about that. Kmart Blue Light Special. But anyways, I was out shopping for a boat. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I'm neuralistic programming you. I was shopping for a big, big boat. And I passed a Kmart. I still like a deal, right? And it said it was closing. I'm shocked. So anyways, it said 30 to 50% off, but I stopped in there. What's in that Kmart? What's in the Kmart? Everybody who's losing their job is closing. Everybody in that Kmart is losing their job. You wouldn't be looking for a job, would you? Oh my gosh, the whole place. And April will tell you that I just had a ball in there. So anyways, she wants to speak up.
One of the guys tonight, weren't you?
Yeah, absolutely, I was, and he'll be on the webinar, tomorrow. And it was so funny, and Elliot laughs when I do this, because when I was in Chicago, I had a 3-story mansion. And anyways, Elliot goes, I trained my kids, but I didn't train them. This one guy was saying to me, "Are you for real? Can you really show me how to change my life?" And Elena was there. She's 8 years old, and I said, "Elena, tell them about your house." And she's like, "Hi, I'm Elena, and I lived in a mansion." You can't do that starting out, but it is just so funny. And everyone doesn't want to do that, I bought that for different reasons and everything else. But you can start off. But I mean, I was a big believer. But it was pretty fun. But you can believe I talked to everyone in there, and just about anything from products to, are you looking for something, like they're not looking for something. Are you kidding me? Of course they're looking for something.
All right, but I want to make sure we hit on 3 things. So I'm trying to pull what is that first step. It's not so forget being out and you're using like opening lines on people. What is that action is speaking to 3 people a day.
You have to invite. You're specifically, you must invite.
Yeah.
And you need to learn how to do that. There's no question about it. And like I said, it's simple, but it's not easy, because you got to overcome some fear and some things. And what overcame it for me, and I've heard people in it, I'm not going to name anyone's name on our team, but one day they just said, "You know what? I'm more scared of failing than I am like someone making a fool of me." That kind of thing. And I like that. So there's different, where are you, there's fear. Fear is a powerful motivator. If you're more scared of making it, but you have to invite. You have to invite to something. It could be an invite to a call to your upline as a 3-way, as a conversation. It could be invite to see a pre-recorded webinar, which our team site is awesome. I mean, we don't even have time to go into that, how many triggers that has. That can build you a business right there. But you invite to a live webinar, which really so few companies do today. They have all these pre-recorded, and what I like about our team is you can communicate with us. But that is it, Elliot. You have to invite. You have to follow up. Because you said in the same day, the first day one is just inviting. But the next day, see what it means? It comes from inviting, and then portion of it is following up. And just a hot tip, it might seem so simple, but you can't You can't, when people are going to be home because they have jobs, they want out of their job, the acronym for just over broke, and other times, a lot of times more month than money, they're going to get home after work. You know, I know there's 3 shifts. We're going to use 5 o'clock. So that's a hot time. Let them get home. Let them use the bathroom. Let them get an apple or something so they're not crazy mean to you. But about 6 o'clock to 8:30 is a good time to call. That's just the truth because you're going to get them home. But here's what a lot of people do because they want to procrastinate. That's the time. Well, Jeff said I should listen to a CD. No. I did not say on the hottest time you could possibly have when you should be inviting, should be listening to a CD. As a matter of fact, I'm making it really clear. No, do not do that. An hour in the morning, and instead of hitting snooze 3 times, you know, over 15, 20 minutes, listen to a CD for 20 minutes. Seriously, that should be what you can just lie in bed, relax a little bit, and listen to the CD about the proper way to you know, make some calls. There's so much great stuff out there. So Elliot, it is inviting. It is inviting and it's following up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think to me those are 2 very distinct steps that I mean, obviously you can't get to the follow-up if you haven't invited in the first place, but by the time you've gone through a couple weeks even, you know, April talks about seeing results from what you do today in 90 days. I think that's definitely accurate, but you're also going to see after a week or 2 that what's the 3?
The third one, Elliot, and here it is.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm knocking you off. This is really important, and so many people miss this, and this is worth millions. It really is. Simple but not easy. Whether they say no or yes, it doesn't matter. If they say yes, do you know anybody, based on your conversation, do you know anybody else who has knee pain? Do you know anybody else who wants to, you know, start building a fortune? Their fortune, you know, and they're in part-time. You must ask. You live and die by the referral. It doesn't matter if they say no or yes. If they say yes, fantastic. Do you know anyone else who feels like you and they'd like to change their life and improve their life? No, I don't like what you're doing. I dislike network marketing. Fantastic. Do you know anybody else who looks at the opportunity to change their life to improve it? Either way, that's the third thing. Referrals, no matter what, always. And you'll never run out of names. Never, ever, ever, ever will you run out of names. Once someone's on your team and you, that's referrals for a lifetime.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And then basically,
who are you scared to call, Elliot?
What?
Who are you scared to call? I need a name. I'm ready. Anyone you scared to call that you want me to call for you?
Larry Thompson.
I want to call Larry Thompson, co-founder of Herbalife, and I think he'd find Sisel fascinating. Do you have his number for me?
That. No, I don't have that.
Okay, I'm going to look that up, and when I call him, I'm going to keep him personal now. That just cost you. You could have looked it up for me. Anyways, it's a lot of fun, but see, you must ask for the referral. That's the point. Elliot makes his own calls, so it's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, so what I was going to say, and yes, the referral part. Here's what I would add to that, Jeff. Is so my cycle with people in general is an invitation, right? Mm-hmm. Invitation to a presentation, whether it's recorded or live. A immediate follow-up on that presentation to ask them what they liked, what questions came up for them, and depending on how serious they are about what they just saw, asking them if they're ready to join us. And
sure.
So I would definitely add, asking people to join you, because I've also been through periods where I don't ask people to join, and you know what happens? People don't join.
Right. That's mind-blowing.
But it's true. I mean, so it can't be, well, I invited 10 people to webinars this week. That's awesome. Did you follow up with them? Well, maybe. Did you ask them if they were ready to join and start building a business with you? Well, no, I definitely didn't do that. All right, we'll get back on the phone, and that's your next step, is to follow up again and ask the question again. And whether you're following up with email or phone, I mean, email is definitely not as effective as getting on the phone with someone. But a lot of times it's more convenient, and that's personally I think it's fine. Keeping in touch with someone by email is how people keep in touch today. So whether it's on Facebook or email, say, hey, I was just thinking about you. Is this a better time to watch the video if you haven't watched it yet? Whatever the case is, but building, what you're doing is building your network. You're building relationships with people that when they do lose their job, or when they do hit that that Monday morning where they're like, I just can't do this anymore, I gotta change something, they're gonna say, you know what, today's the day, I gotta call Jeff back, today's the day. And that will happen if you stay fresh in their mind. Not everyone's gonna join you the minute after they see the webinar. It just doesn't happen like that. So invite, follow up, ask for the sale, ask for referrals.
That's right. And Elliot, use the lines back a little word. Would it be okay? You say after you invited them, say it was say you're going to invite them tonight. I don't know what time zone you're in. I'm in Eastern time zone, so it's getting a little late. But say you're going to invite them, 7 o'clock. You say, would it be okay if I text you 15 minutes before it started? Just as a quick reminder. They say, sure, yeah, that would be great. Then they get the text. They remember that they told you it's okay. Would it be okay if I called you within a half an hour just to remind you? I mean, there's webinars that I want to see to, educate myself and improve sales skills and techniques, and sometimes I miss them, because something's going on, or I'm doing a three-way, or something's happening, and I miss that, webinar. It doesn't mean they didn't want to be there. When I do say, invite 3 people, it's got to be a different 3. But it builds on itself. Some people you'll invite a couple times a month for a few months. And Elliot, we're kind of at the top of the hour, but do you want to explain the technique? I just really love it. Where basically you're saying, I know, I'm asking 10 people about this. 70% aren't going to be really interested. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I still use that. So it depends on the person, but yeah, I'll basically say, I got this webinar tomorrow night. Now, about 70-80% of the people that watch it are not interested at all, and I'm sure that you're probably going to fall into that group. But I wonder if you could just take a look at it for me and let me know what you think. And like, all right, yeah, I'll take a look at it. And now, granted, this isn't a random person on the street. This is someone who, based on what I know about them, should have an interest in starting a business from home. So once they get on the presentation and see it, then it's either going to open their eyes, or they're going to be like, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm like, all right, well, thanks for watching. You're in that 80%. I told you that's probably where you were going to be anyway. But I mean, from the invitation standpoint, it's just so you're telling them ahead of time that this probably isn't for them, because it's 80% of the people really don't like it. It's not for them. And but would you at least check it out? Let me know what you think. It's what I've decided to do, and I value your opinion. Now, you don't really value their opinion. Let's make that clear. That you don't actually value their opinion in that case. But you're giving them the perception of power, and they realize that, oh, well, I'm not going to like it, so sure, I'll watch it for them. People will pity you.
Elliot, I was in that store for a while. I'm just going back to that, and it's just fun stuff because you get so confident and you have some fun. I toned it down because I was at Kmart in the blue light special, so I didn't say Ferrari or Lamborghini. But I said to the guys in their 20s, you know what I mean? I said, hey, I'm just curious, how come you don't like Corvettes? And they said, I like Corvettes. And I said, you want a Corvette? And they said, yeah, I want a Corvette. And I said, well, then how come you're working here? I mean, here and Corvette, and these don't go together. If you really want a Corvette, I can show you how to get a Corvette. Matter of fact, we have a luxury auto program. But, you know, you want to take down my name and number? You got a pen, man. They grabbed a pen. They want their Corvette. It's a little fun, but it's confidence, and it was just so abundance that day. You can try, different techniques.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. So, ask people, Elliot, how come you don't like Ferraris?
We got to put together a whole. We'll have to plan it out because I think it'd be really, really good, like a full hour of like invite role playing.
Serious ones too, in different categories for single moms, parents, just all different types of things that you can say. It'd be a tremendous amount of fun, and you'll find some stuff that I want you to find stuff and adapt it to you. I mean, we really that's the big. You know what? If everyone's unclear on this. This network marketing is a teaching and mentoring business. So that's what we want to do. We want to improve skills and techniques. We want to teach, and we want you to make it your own. So anyways, that's what it's all about. So I hope you, I really hope you enjoyed this, whether you're listening to the recording or you're seeing it live. Always up for some, emails of what you'd like to see in the future. We're doing this hangout every Monday, and let's go to the hangout after we take this off live, so we can talk to our Sisel partners and really excel this a little bit. Get a little Q&A off live. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's good. So
just for a couple minutes.
Got some action steps. Got the
hopefully we had some fun too.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of what the hangout's all about. I mean, we try to give the bulk of the training throughout the week, and Jeff gets up early to get on there and do all that training for us. So, this should be fun. It should be valuable at the same time. And I don't know if April's still over there, but
I'm still here in beautiful sunny Florida.
She wasn't going to miss a word. She's not missing it. So, April, do you want to add into it, or any comments, questions, concerns? You want to yell at Elliot or myself, or?
No, I'll yell at you after.
All right.
Guys, I understand, like, the whole thing. Like, if anybody's struggling with action, or they're struggling with fear, or they're struggling with belief, or they're struggling with any of those things, of course, we're here for you. If you need somebody to talk to, we're always here for you. I love this team for that reason. But here's what I would want you to do. If that's something that you struggle with, this is something that always helped me, is make it a point to step out of your comfort zone a little more every day. Don't expect to, like, leap out, but just start making little inches towards stepping out of your comfort zone. Get a little bit more uncomfortable each day, because in order to have something that you've never had, you're going to have to do something that you've never done before to get it. So I think that would be, like, my biggest, you guys, homework assignment, whatever you guys want to call it, but making it a point, and maybe even putting that as a goal. If it's something that's really you're struggling with and you're really holding back, because I see a lot of people on this team, you're holding back. You're not really truly allowing yourself to become successful, because you're not taking the actions to become successful. So you're holding back. So maybe what you need to do is you need to set it on paper, and you need to sit down and you need to say, okay, I'm going to do what April Marie said, and I'm going to step out of my comfort zone a little more each day, and that is my goal. So what are the activities that you can do every day to make sure that you're stepping out of your comfort zone? Is it picking up the phone and calling your chicken list? What is it that you're scared of, or that you're fearful of, or that you lack belief that you can do, or whatever it is that's holding you back from taking action? What is it that you need to do every day to make sure that you're working on overcoming that? Because the only way that you're ever going to overcome any of your fears, your procrastination, whatever it is, in order for you to even get good at your business and actually, mastering your craft of calling leads or whatever, is by doing. So you have to start taking the actions, the money producing actions that you need to every single day in your business. And if you don't do that, you're going to be stuck at broke. You're going to be stuck in your job. We don't want that for you. So make it a point to take massive action every day. Get out there and start making things happen in your business, because truly you are with the greatest company there is on the planet. Sisel International rocks. We have amazing things happening right now in this team. Daily pay, $100,000 bonuses. I mean, guys, this is like seriously the most exciting company I have ever seen even. So you have the vehicle. All you need to do is really get good at driving it. And guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks, Elliot. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Mike. Lindsay, you guys want to add anything? Just do it.
We're going to go off live, April, and have a little hangout for a second.
All right. I'll end with this. Be a doer, not a donor. All right, guys. We'll see you next Monday. And don't forget to be chiming in on those wake-up calls Monday through Saturday. Every morning at 10 a.m. you wake up with Sisel. Is it Sisel? How do you say it, Jeff?
Good morning, Sisel.
Good morning, Sisel. Tomorrow is Tuesday. What? What's tomorrow? Tuesday?
Jeff's mute's on.
Oh, Testimonial Tuesday.
Oh, yeah,
Here we go.
Make sure that you guys jump onto those. I'll tell you what, it's a great way for you to start your day. These calls are rocking and rolling, and we are always looking for more people that want to share stories, share what's working for them in their business. So make sure you reach out to Jeffrey Kistner, or Elliot, or even myself if you'd like to come on and share. But most importantly, get on and start listening to that training, because you guys, if you're sitting here like, I don't know how to build my business, get on the calls. Get on the morning 10 a.m. call. Get on these hangouts. You make sure you're on the presentations. Go ask somebody in the Facebook group. You guys, we've got more than 100 ways to build a business here in Sisel International, and this team is here to show you how. So make sure you're tuning into everything that's provided for you, because this stuff is what works in your business and what's going to make money. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye for now. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.